WXII 12 News at 10 on the Triad CW starts now.
Impeachment articles against the president go to the full Senate. What happens now? Plus new revelations tonight from one of the men at the center of the Ukraine scandal.
Plus, one person died today in a trench collapse in Durham, what investigators are still trying to figure out.
And more reaction tonight on the retirement of beloved Carolina Panthers linebacker Luke Kuechly. Happening now as we take a live look at Capitol Hill. President Trump's fate now in the hands of the United States Senate.
Articles of impeachment have been hand-delivered to that body. Now they'll hold a trial against the president starting next week. Andy Rose explains what to expect moving forward.
Today, we will make history.
With the swiping of many pens, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi signed a resolution to send 2 articles of impeachment to the United States Senate, one for abuse of power and one for obstruction of Congress.
So sad, so tragic for our country.
After the historic signing ceremony, 7 impeachment managers chosen to prosecute the case against President Trump made a historic procession through the halls of the United States Capitol, and for the 3rd time in American history, hand-delivered articles of impeachment against a president to the Senate.
As we make that history, we will be making progress for the American people, progress in support of our Constitution, progress in honor of the sacrifice and the vision of our founders.
Message from the House of Representatives.
The Senate's acceptance of the articles has officially set the gears of the impeachment trial into motion.
The message will be received
at the hour of 12 noon on Thursday, January 16, 2020. The Senate will receive the managers on the part of the House of Representatives in order that they may present and exhibit the articles of impeachment against Donald John Trump, President of the United States.
I'm Andy Rose reporting.
The House's impeachment managers will read the charge aloud to the Senate tomorrow afternoon. Following that, the Chief Justice will swear in the entire Senate, who will then formally notify the White House about the pending trial. President Trump and his counsel will be summoned to stand trial against the articles of impeachment.
Also tonight, new evidence of the president's potential pressure campaign in Ukraine. Documents the Democrats say makes their case even stronger. In an interview with MSNBC's Rachel Maddow, Lev Parnas, the man at the center of those documents, who we're about to see here in a moment, says President Trump knew exactly what was going on with regard to Ukraine. Parnas worked closely with the president's personal attorney, Rudy Giuliani, in Ukraine, he says, in hopes of digging up dirt on the president's political rivals. The president's Republican allies argue these documents do not change anything in the impeachment proceedings. As the impeachment trial gets underway, you can see live coverage here on WXII 12, WXII12.com, and over on the flagship station. You can also get alerts sent straight to your smartphone by downloading our free app.
Now to Durham, where one person is dead after a trench collapse trapped 4 workers.
That body was recovered just a few hours ago. Steve King spent the day at the scene and brings us what investigators know and what they are still trying to determine.
After about 5 hours of searching, rescue crews were able to find the 4th worker that they had been looking for trapped in that collapsed trench, but that worker had died. Tarps were up as crews pulled out the 4th worker. Now, this collapse happened at about 11 a.m. Durham Fire and Wake County EMS leaders say workers were in the middle of a construction project for a new gas station at a shopping center near Raleigh-Durham International Airport when the walls of the trench they were in collapsed, trapping 4 workers. The trench was 6 to 8 feet deep. One worker made it out on his own, and crews pulled another worker out within minutes of arriving. About an hour later, they pulled another worker out, but one was still trapped. Rescue crews found that that worker had died, and they pulled his body out around 4:15 in the afternoon. Durham Fire Department leaders shared what they saw as they arrived this morning and why it took about 5 hours before they were able to recover the worker's body.
So when first responders arrived, there were people in the trench trying to get their buddies out, which is what you expect. And then, we started our protocols of evacuating, and then we have to shore it before we can get in it. So that's the process.
Right now, the conditions of the 2 workers who were pulled from the trench collapse are unknown, but we do know that they are at Duke University Medical Center with non-life-threatening injuries. Right now, OSHA and the North Carolina Department of Labor are leading this investigation, and the cause of the trench collapse remains unknown. Reporting in Durham, Steve King, WXII 12 News.
Steve, thank you. New tonight, it is life in prison for the man charged with killing his 10-year-old son and then dumping the body under a billboard in Mebane. It happened 22 years ago, back in 1998. John Witt also pleaded guilty today to killing the boy's mother. He was sentenced to 26 to 32 years for each murder. This was him in court back in August of last year. Bobby Witt went by John Mebane Doe until DNA positively identified the remains last year. The suspect's sentence here will begin in 2037 once he completes his current sentence in federal prison on robbery counts. WRAL is reporting Witt said he is heartbrokenly sorry over the killings and asked for forgiveness from his former wife's family.